Welcome again to Hannah's House of Music, and today this is lesson 3, and our lesson today is going to be based off our test paper. I've just randomly picked a grade 1 test paper. I'm going to just look at the topics that are therein, and we shall discuss them as we go. Now, rhythm. Rhythm is something that you can easily clap to or something you can tap on a table. For instance, if you have that, so you would say, this is 1 count, 1, then 1 end, and this is 2 counts. So this is something you can tap to or clap to. So we're going to say ta, ta, te, ta, like that. So 1, that's 1, 1, 2. So given a minim, which is also known as a half note, is 2 counts, and then this is the 2 of these put together would balance with a crotchet, also known as a quarter note. So if you were to clap this, you'd say 1, 2, ta, 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 1, 2, like that. All right. So something that you can clap to or tap on a table, that's your rhythm. Rhythm mostly is confused interchangeably by students with pitch. Pitch is how high or how low a note is. So for instance, this is a bass clef. This is also a bass clef. But if you look at this note, it's down here and this note is up there. So this is a low sounding note. It's low. First of all, it's low for starters because it's on the bass side of things. So this is bass clef. So when it's on the bass side, it's gonna sound low compared to notes that are on the treble clef side, like that one, for instance. But even on a bass clef, a note that is way down here on a bass clef compared to a note that's there or there or there. So the higher the note goes, the higher it sounds. The lower the note goes, then it's low in pitch, especially when you're looking on the same side of the clef. All right. Now, usually a test paper is created in a way it can help you out. So sometimes you see, for instance, a place where it's written, create your own rhythm of say 4/4 or 2/2/4. So you're given a blank slate like this. You have a blank slate and they give you 10 marks, for instance. They say it's gonna be 10 marks. You are supposed to create a piece of music. Then they give you a time signature of 2/4. Remember that we said the 4 at the bottom would be representative of a crotchet beat. So 2/4 basically means 2 crotchet beats in a bar. So for instance, or in a measure. So that bar is complete as it is because this is 1 count, this is another count, and that in relation to that, and that in relation to that will give you 2 crotchet counts in that measure. So if you're given this kind of a stave and you're told to do a 4-bar rhythm, for instance, that's the first bar, second, third, and fourth. Ideally, the test paper comes in play because from other questions, you can look at that. For instance, here they say 2/4. So they've already given you something here, and your job here was to put bar line. So if you got this correctly and you did put a bar line here, because this would be the right place, they say add 1 missing bar line to each of these melodies. So this would be the place to put the bar line. This is why you would draw it. So in the event that you got this correct, but you've run out of ideas on what to do with creating a rhythm, you can quickly pick the idea they had given you here. If you know for sure that you did it right, then you would do the rhythms on that 2/4 section, for instance. I'm going to copy it exactly as it is. And then that. So this idea here, I've taken it and in my 4-bar rhythm. I've taken that and that, still from the same test paper, and maybe you finish your piece of music with a long note. So if somebody had given you an opening of that, told you to create a 4-bar rhythm, ideally it's good to end with a long note, and I didn't want to do 2 crotchets again at the end because I would be copying the idea that they gave me at the beginning. Mostly they say in which no 2 bars are the same. So in that case, in the process of just making sure that all the bars are unique and you still have 4 complete bars that give you 2/4, over here, just using the other questions from the test paper, you can easily coin a great idea to complete another question that will give you so much marks without feeling that you had to struggle to come up with rhythms yourself. So the test paper can help you. Another way the paper helps you to pass or to do well, so for instance, in this one, they say add the 1 missing byline to each of these. So if you find yourself, maybe you count badly and you do 1, 2, you put a byline there, and 1, 2, you put a byline there, you will have put 2 bar lines in a place where it says add the 1. So that wording in itself, if you're careful, you should notice when they say 1, every single part in this section, you're supposed to just put 1 bar line. If you find yourself on the same line putting more than 1 bar line, over here you'll have 1, over here you'll have 1. So in this case, you'll put 1 bar line there, go to the next one, your bar line will be there, go to the next one, the bar line will be there, go to the next one, your bar line will be there, and go to the next one, your bar line will be there. If you find yourself putting a bar line, say here and there, then that should tell you you've put 2 and the instruction is highlighting that we are only working with 1. So some of these wordings will help to make you pass if you're keen. Pitch, again, I will say, is the how high or how low a note sounds. And then we go to the keys of the scale. So the tip I would give on this one is your answer. For you to know the key that you're on, if you look at the sharps, usually, especially in the beginning grades, grade 1, grade 2, they mostly make sure they haven't put the alto clefs and the tenor clefs, that the patterns of the sharps would be on spaces. So most of the times the first accidental will be on the line. So the trick here, when you're doing the keys, when you're looking at the keys, you go to the sharp where it is. So in our case, this is F sharp. For you to know which key has an F sharp, you just go a box higher. You just go to the next letter. So if this sharp here is on F, then this key signature is in G major. You just go 1 box higher than where the sharp is. If the sharps are 2, don't work with the first sharp, and we consider the first one being the one that is closest to the clef. So if that's the first sharp, this becomes your second sharp. So when you have 2 sharps, you work with the one that is on the far end, the one that came last. That's the one you use. Then you go 1 step higher. So in our case, the first sharp here is on an F sharp. The second sharp is on a C sharp. So how will you know which key has 2 sharps? Now, if this is on a C, what letter comes after C? Your answer is this line, D. So the key signature that has 2 sharps is D major. And you move on like that, and if you find one that has 3 sharps, you take the sharp that came in last, and that is the sharp that you will count from the last sharp, move 1 step higher, and your answer will be there. All right, now, as for the flat, you do the same. If it's 1 flat, counting from where the flat is, you go 4 steps down. So from the B flat, that's 1, the space down 2, the line G 3, then if we were to write number 4, you'd land on this space here. Now that note usually is letter F. So F major is the one that has 1 flat, the B flat. Okay, so your answer here, if you count 4 steps down, you land on F, and that's your answer. So if you have 2 flats, you will have the B flat here. If you had another flat, it would be on an E flat up here. If you count 4 steps from the E flat, you will land yourself on this line, the line that has a B flat. So before you quickly write B major, check if that line has a flat on it. And in our case, yes, it does. So instead of just saying B major, you will, since it has a flat, you add flat next to that B of yours. So you'll say B flat major has 2 flats. So let's do that practically. So here we are. We're going to draw a treble clef. And then we have a flat there. Which key has this 1 flat? So you count 4 steps down. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is your answer. Okay, that's your answer, and that's an F. So you would say F major. Now, if you have 2 flats, the flats would be here on a B flat, and usually the second flat that follows is an E flat. So you count from the accidental that came last, and we usually count who came first, starting from where the side the treble clef is. So you start counting from the clef, you go this way, this is the one who came first, keep moving, that one came second. So to know which key usually has these 2 flats, you count 4 steps down. 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is your answer. That's your answer. So for the lines there, this is the B line, okay? And the answer, you would happily say B, but before you say major, confirm, check if that B has a accidental. Yes, it does. It has a flat. You come and draw that flat next to your B here. And now your answer is B flat major. If they were 3, then you would have those 3. So this one came first, that's second, that's the one you're working with. If you count 4 steps down from there, 1, 2, 3, 4 is on this line. This is an E. Before you happily say major, you have to count. Much as this flat is on the space up here, remember this is a key signature, and a key signature affects the whole song. So much as this is an E up here, this letter here is also an E. The first line is also an E. So this key signature affects even this line. So your answer will not just be E major. Because of this flat here, you will call that E flat major has 3 flats. So you go 4 steps down when you're dealing with flats. With sharps, as we have checked, flats, with sharps, as we saw, it starts with 1 sharp. Then you can have a key signature that has 2. You would have that, and then if you have 3, you would have, and this one is above the space. How will you know exactly what am I relating to? If I want it to be on the line, then if you were to put a small dot right at the middle of your sharp inside that little box, it should be on the line. So in my case, this sharp is intended to be on the F line. All right, so there, for you to know which key you're on, if the sharp is on F, you go 1 step higher, and 1 step higher would be here. So my answer in this case would be G major. G major has 1 sharp. Okay, when you have 2 sharps, the first one would be on F, then this is the sharp you work with. So the second sharp, But that is not your answer. The answer would be the step higher up there. So the first sharp there is an F sharp. And then the second one is a C sharp. But that doesn't give you the key. To know the key, go to where the C sharp is. That's not the answer. Who's the next note after that C? D. Then your answer now becomes D major has 2 sharps. If there are 3, same story. Remember, if you go past the stave, there's some small lines up here. They are called ledger lines that you work with. So F sharp, this isn't a very good one because of how I've drawn it. It should be squarely on the line, the first one. So F sharp, then C sharp, something like that. Or better still, let me just do a better one. So the 3 sharps, F, and then C sharp, then G up here, then you do your ledger lines. And the space between your ledger line and the stave line should ideally be the same. All the same, so F sharp, C sharp, G sharp. So which key is this that has these 3? If this is a G, the letter that comes after G, you go up here on this line. That's your answer. And that would be A major has 3 sharps. So that's the pattern. Just remember, when it's sharps, to know the key you're on, you go 1 step higher. When it's flats, you count 4 steps down.